Welcome back. We're back for another one. This is the Torturefest. This was the last race I had on Saturday. Now, the Monday and the Tuesday was a Saturday race, plus today's a Saturday. Now, the one I put out on Wednesday was actually a Monday race. That was the Swift Games. I did it early that morning. Like I told you, my legs were tired. Now, this was the last race I did on Saturday. I did this one around noontime, and I was starting to get to the point where I was starting to feel tired. It was like my 5th race of the day. So I was starting to really feel it. I wanted to do tiny races, but when I came out the race before that, I missed it. So it had already started. So when you miss that first tiny race, the rest of them you get DQ'd out of, it don't count. So that's the reason I didn't do it. Now, let me also say, please like and subscribe to my channel. At this point, I'm under 150. I'm trying to get to 250. Help me out. We got about 100. I'm sorry I said the other day. We got about 104, 105 to go. Help me get there, y'all. Give me also. I'm trying to get as many likes as I do views. That'll really help me out a lot. So with all that being said, thank y'all for watching my videos. I'm gonna show you what a little bit fresher legs have. The Wednesday video was more about my legs being tired. That was my 4th day running. But we're gonna get into this race. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, and we're off. And as we take off on this race, you see, I'm not trying to power out. I'm trying to ride everybody else in here. And so I'm riding with the people that are in this race. So as we're riding, you can see that I'm just trying to stay in that front pack. Now look at my heart rate. My heart rate is slowly gonna start slowly climbing, and it's gonna get up there a little bit, but it's not really climbing fast. It's just, this is more of a shorter race. This race, man, it was a nice little race. It was a crits race, so that means you have no power-ups. It's just straight riding. Now, we have the rolling hills, which I'm good at this. Now, heavier riders, if you like the Dolphin, this is part of that Dolphin class. You got the reverse Dolphin and the regular Dolphin. You have the Glass Glow Crits. You have the Volcano Circuit. Those are great races for us because they are hills, so we can relax coming down one, but then they're also flat enough so that we can run. You can run with all your power. So this is a great race for you, but this was a Torturefest. So as we're riding this ride, I'm looking at it and I'm trying to, it was only like 19 of us in this race. Well, on Swift, the Sauce take it off of Swift Power, so it was saying 19. I think the race had maybe more than that. I'm not exactly sure. So we're riding. Each time we come to the bricks right here, this is downhill. This is where I catch up. This is where I let my speed take over, my weight take over, and I relax myself for a little while. And then we come around here. Now, my goal was trying to figure out, okay, I know I've done this, and I know which way this is going, but I need a landmarker to tell me when to take off. So I'm judging where I'm at. I think this thing was 5 laps. So as we're coming around this first half of the race, I'm going, okay, cool. I'm understanding. I'm looking at my graphic top, saying, am I on a decline? I am on a negative. So as I'm coming around this negative, I'm looking, okay, cool. I see the bike. Okay, now all I need to know, this is the emblem up there on the wall. I see the graffiti on the wall, the mirror on the wall. I go, okay, in that mirror, how far am I from the finish line? So now I'm starting to look at it. I'm looking at the graph. If you notice, the Sauce has a negative in front of 0. That actually is a negative climb. It's actually a decline. But and you'll see it go away sometimes, but it's actually a decline all the way to from that mural to the finish line right here. It's a decline. So that means that I can put power in, and I think it was a younger kid in this race too. It's a lot lighter people in this race. So with this race, I was determined not to let them get too far ahead of me. So as we're coming around, I'm riding. I'm looking at us and I'm watching us ride. And I'm going, okay, cool. All we gotta do is just stay with the pack. Whatever pack we're in, I'm just trying to stay there. I'm not trying to outbeat them out, leave them in the pack. I just want to ride in the pack. And I have more control. Like I was talking to y'all about Wednesday. You notice how I stay in the middle of the pack. I move myself back to the middle of the pack. Look at my draft numbers. Now we're slowly climbing, or we on flat, it shows it, but when we got a little climb, my draft numbers are a little bit different. Now, once we get to a flat, watch what happens. My draft numbers shoot through the roof. Look at them. They start to go up really fast. And even on even on this little percentage coming up, I still have them. So that's where I like to sit at. Now, look at my heart rate. My heart rate is about 148. And that's where I want to be at in these races. That way I have room to sprint at the end. I'm not trying to get up that high like I was Wednesday, but as I was saying, I'm slightly tired. So it really does count. I'm not used to actually measuring out when I need to race. because I have to say, a lot of D races that I had been doing, I didn't really have to worry about people being up on me unless it was certain ones like BB or SJ or Silva or somebody like that racing with me. Them guys racing with me pushed me at the end of the race. Without them, if we back at the mirror, I'm doing the time in my head again. I look at the thing up top. I look at the swift on the map. I look at the sauce on the map. I make sure this is all a negative all the way around to the finish line. So that way I know now that when we get to that 5th lap and it comes down to that negative, I know I'm gonna be fine because it's always negative. So if I have to push, I'm not fighting a heel. I'm not even fighting a flat. Even though it says a 0 flat, you notice that negative went away. Now it's a true 0 flat. Anytime I got the negative in, it's actually a decline. So I know all the way to the finish line is a decline. So now we're going up through the rolling hills again. I told you I call them lumpy lumps for the longest, but we're on the rolling hills. We're on the rolling hills now, and like I always talk to the heavier riders. I'm all about talking to the heavier riders because what I'm telling y'all is we have to understand that we have to use every advantage we can have to get on these races. So you ride these races a lot, ride. I've only been racing since July. Let's just say July. I'm already up to almost 225 races. I race all the time. Now, somebody asked me one time, what do I do to warm up for a race? I do my hydro, and like I did with this one, I do my hydro about an hour before I race. So I try to, if I'm racing on Saturday, I'm doing like 5 races. Each race, I try to give a gap of 2 hours. That way, because I'm really coming in on fresh legs. So what I do is I do a hydro workout before the race, and about an hour before the race. Then I do a stretch about 15 minutes before the race, and then I race. And that's how I get my heart rate burning really hard. Then I let it calm down and relax. Then I come into the race, I'm ready to go. So as we come around and look at that, I'm in the draft. I'm doing about I'm putting off pretty good, nice numbers. It's about 140. It's not a lot of downhill on here. It's more of a flat ride. So as we come around here, I'm looking at it. We're on the 3rd lap now, and there go the mirror. And now if you look up there, like I said, you look at the sauce map, you see the negative. It's gonna be negative all the way through the finish line. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool. As long as I stay in the draft with them, and you notice that I'm staying right there in the draft, I'm not trying to lead this race. I'm not trying to get out in front. I wanna stay in the pack. That gives me my benefit. Look at my heart rate, 149 beats per minute. I have room to sprint. That's what I'm talking about with bigger guys. You have to have room to sprint. If I was sitting at 168 like I was on Wednesday, there's no room, because what happens is that when you take off, and I don't know if you realize this, maybe it's just something that's known and I'm just realizing it. That's probably me just realizing it. So when you take off, it takes a minute for your heart to kick in, which I noticed that on my hydro. But once it kick in, that's when you start to really feel it. But if your heart rate is always almost already to your max, you have no room to really kick in. So that really causes a problem. So that's what's going on. So, but my heart rate at 140, I have a lot of room. So if I take off, I got a minute before I really start feeling how much power I'm putting out. So what I try to do now is just stay in the pack. Look at me, even though we're on a little climb, I'm still getting the benefits of a draft, just staying right there where I'm at. I'm not trying to push hard. I don't have to go up and close to, my max on here. Look at my WKGs. They're really not that high for the speed. I'm really moving. But I'm not doing a lot of work. I'm not trying to get outside that pack. We're on this downhill. I'm riding around this hill. I'm looking at it. Okay, cool. And I'm like, okay, cool. We're getting ready to come around on this 4th lap. And that's going to make a great deal. So what I'm doing now is just measuring it out again. Okay, how far can I coast before they catch up to me now? That's what I'm doing now. If I power on that downhill right there, how far can I coast before they catch up to me? Meaning that, okay, cool, when is the mirror coming up? And as we come around this corner, I'm starting to look for that mirror on the wall with the bikes and stuff. That's when I know, okay, cool. Right about that should be about 97%. I should be at about 97% progression through the race. So right there, that mirror is where I can start attacking this race. So, okay, I think about that. Okay, cool. On this 4th lap, what I'm gonna do is when we hit them gold bricks is the downhill. I'm gonna power into that downhill and see how much, I'm gonna try to time it in my head, how long it takes for them to catch up to me. Because it's no effort for me, but that means they have to start pedaling. Especially on that 5th lap, they're gonna be trying to pedal up to catch up to me. How far can I get outside of them to make them catch up to me? So when we do hit that sprint, which is a negative the whole way through, it gives me a chance to actually push it. As long as my heart rate is not above 160, I should be fine. That gives me the whole way of sprinting that whole way out. And that's all I'm thinking about. So now we come around on this 4th lap. I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool, let's get around here. We're going back around. And I said to myself, okay, once we get to that mirror, that mirror on the wall, no, first I said to myself, sorry about that, y'all. I said, when we get to the gold bricks, which is the downhill, I'm gonna power into that because I need to judge how they're gonna do when we do that. So I'm back in the pack, my heart rate coming back down. It started clipping up a little bit, but it's starting to come back down. And I'm sitting in the pack. And you see my watch, and even though we're climbing with a slight climb, I'm just sitting right there. And I keep my place up there in the top. You see I'm in place 19th, 14th out of 19 riders, but I'm just staying right there. There's no sense. And now we're on that. Now I power into this thing. Now look at it. I'm coming down, I'm powering into it, and I'm trying to get it up some. I'm not trying to push my heart rate too far. I'm trying to get up to 50 kilometers, and I want to see what they do. And as we come around, they kind of stepped with me on this one. I said, okay, cool. But I know from when I did this on the 3rd lap that I can pull away on them on that decline. So I said, okay, what I'm gonna do is calm myself back down. Here come the mirror coming up around here. And I know once we pass that mirror on the wall, I hope I'm saying it right, that mirror on the wall. it's the picture of the bikes and stuff, the earn stuff on the wall. I'll show you right here so everybody look at that right there. I'm looking at that. That's when I know I'm gonna have to attack this race. That should put me at about 97% progress through this race. So now we're coming around on this end right here, and I said, okay, cool. I know where I'm at. I know what I need to do. I'm prepared for the last lap. I need to go ahead and take my time, let them get in front of me, ride the pack, and to keep my heart rate around 150, 148, somewhere in there. So what I'm doing now is just trying to ease in here and just ride with them. This is why I like the swift play, because it allows me to sit in there. I'm not even gonna try to chase that guy down, really. What I wanna do is kind of just stay in it. He tried to pull away from us, but we're on these lumpy lumps, which is gonna give me a chance to kick. I just gotta make sure I stay with them and who's in front of me. But I don't really need to do too much more than that. So now I come back out of it and I just say, okay, cool, I'm just gonna ride here. So now as we're coming through here, I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're finna really get close to the end of this race. So I'm riding with them. We're at 88% of this race done, and I'm just trying to stay in the pack. My heart rate is at 158, and I'm really hoping to calm it down a little bit. So as we stand, they really started attacking this thing in the end. But the funny thing is, because I gave myself so much room for so long, I still have a little room to play. I'm not in the 160s yet. I know if they click in there, but I'm not there yet. And we come to the yellow bricks. So now I'm trying to come in this. I'm coming down the yellow bricks. I'm at 160, but they've been pushing the whole route. So now they really got to push to catch up to me. Look at me, I'm at 53 kilometers coming down that hill, and now I'm just waiting for them to catch me. So as we're coming around this, we're getting close to the end. We're at 94% progressing through this. I said at 97, I want to hit, which would put me at that mirror on the wall. So I'm looking for the mirror on the wall, and I know that once I see that, I can take off. Now this guy comes past me, and I'm like, I'm not trying to take off yet, but he forces me to take off just slightly before I wanted to. So now I gotta go. But you have to remember what I told you. My power plus negative gives me a slight advantage over him. So as we come right here, all I'm doing now is put my power in and trying to push with him, but I have the room to sprint. Even though I'm at 165, I just got up to that point now. So now we're sprinting, and I'm looking at, okay, cool, I got in front of him, and I look down at the thing, and we got 12, I think it ends at 12 kilometers, and we're 11.7, and when we come around this corner, I knew I had it. That's all I knew. Once I got around the corner, he wasn't no catch me. Thank y'all for watching my videos. Thank y'all for supporting me. Thank y'all for being there for me. With that, I want to tell y'all, ride on.